Hey team, Coach Jess here. I'm a fitness and health coach based in LA. What? So real quick before we get too in the weeds of what is she talking about? Like, shouldn't every health coach's goal for people to be to lose weight in the new year? Um, no, and here's why. I want you to start thinking about health. Okay, so health is like the number one thing. Because with health comes weight loss. And today, that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So, if you know me, if you've followed my story, if you've followed anything, you know that I grew up kind of fighting weight loss. I was thin, then not thin, then all the things, and eating the things, not eating the things. Eventually, when I kind of got a handle on it, I lost 30 pounds doing calorie counting, like just 100% calorie counting and working out and getting my butt kicked in the gym, kicking my own butt and all that. And then I kind of discovered, learned through my when I got certified that calorie counting is completely not a exact science. Now I know that's so shocking to people, right? Because we think, okay, calorie counting, I'm going to eat. Let's talk about it. I'm going to eat 1,200 calories because that all of a sudden became the magic number in our brains at 1,200 calories. And I'm going to work out and I'm going to wear my heart rate monitor and I'm going to burn 400 calories, 500 calories in that group training class or whatever class that is. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to feel awesome, right? Because I have this huge calorie deficit, which means that I'm going to lose this weight. And for so many people, they do that. And I love them for it. They do it and nothing happens. Nothing happens. You're like, well, Jessica, I came into the gym. I was in here 4 days a week. Or I've been coming in consistently 4 to 5 days a week. I'm on point with all my calories. Everything is, I'm not eating that many carbs. All this stuff, right? And the sheer science of it, the sheer numbers of it just doesn't make sense because for so many years, all of us thought okay, calories in, calories out, all that stuff. It does count. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think in kind of going through this past year and looking at different diets, and I mean, honestly, look at it. Look, Whole30 is on there. The Bulletproof Diet's on there. There are so many. There's the book that started it all, or actually, not that one. That's a sequel. But the book that started it all was Cameron Diaz's book, which I know people give it a lot of flack, but honestly, reading that book was oh, okay. Changed a lot of things in my life. Anyway, this is not a book review talk. Today is about just different diets and what serves your purpose and what doesn't serve your purpose. So in doing all these things, I love calorie counting is what got me my weight loss, my 30-pound weight loss. So I will always say, awesome, that was great. It did what it did. But metabolically, the damage that perhaps carried over from that, I am dealing with today. So calorie counting, Whole30, I think is a great diet. So that's another one, or I shouldn't say diet. It's another way to kind of figure out healthy things in your body and things that don't work in your body. So it's a complete elimination diet. You eliminate. Sorry guys, I keep saying diet only because it's been programmed to say Whole30 diet, but it's not. It's a Whole30 process, system, way of life for some people. Okay, so Whole30, you eliminate dairy, you eliminate grains, you eliminate legumes, so peanuts, you eliminate sugar, did I say sugar? And you eliminate alcohol. So basically what I joke around and say is you're eliminating all the fun, but truthfully what's great about Whole30 is you do all that for 30 days and then you reintroduce it. Now the part where people fail, here's looking at some of you and it's fine. I get it. It's life. Because you're 30 days is over. I get to eat pizza. No, that's not how it works. The great, beautiful thing about Whole30 is if you do it correctly and you follow what Melissa Hartwig, who created the Whole30, if you follow what she prescribes, you reintroduce dairy on some days. Then you take it out. You go Whole30 for a couple days, kind of reset your body. You reintroduce grains for a couple days, see how it affects your body, and then reset to Whole30. So if you do the elimination or you do the reintroduction process, you figure out what is going on, what your body can't handle. I think an elimination diet or elimination trial, I should say, or detox, or whatever you want to call it, that elimination period is beautiful because you learn so much about what your body can and can't handle. When I did Whole30, I realized that maybe grains, maybe some dairy. The problem is once you reintroduce everything and you kind of go back to it, your body it's always going to find that homeostasis, right? It's always going to say well, I've been eating this for a while and doing okay with it. It kind of finds its new normal and it kind of gets used to things, which is why people can live on sugar and they don't seem to necessarily be phased. But if you had them remove sugar for 30 days, they'd be it's like coming out of a bubble. So Whole30. So going back to my initial thing is rather than focusing on weight loss, I want you to focus on health. Now, however you do that, I think the main thing you do is you learn about yourself. Use this opportunity to learn about yourself. So Whole30 is a great 30-day thing to figure out what your body responds the best to, what is the healthiest way for your body to function. Now that's one of my affirmations, you guys, my 7 p.m. affirmation. So let me just deeply, completely love and accept myself. Okay, we'll talk about affirmations in another video. So Whole30 is a great way to do it. Now the book that kind of inspired me to get on and do a video is dun, 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 dun. I think it's flipping it on that. But this is How to Heal Your Metabolism by Kate Deering. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on, have I been talking about it on Facebook? I don't think yet. I think mostly just on Instagram. So I posted this photo on my Instagram stories and people were like, what's that? Right? Because how to heal your metabolism, something that we all, I think as we age, I know most of my older clients are well, my metabolism's completely shot, so I can't do anything. And I'm no. But they're my older clients. They're the ones who are thinking about, they're going through the change and things in their body, menopause-wise, are just making things crazy. As we know, your metabolism can slow down. But the thing that shocked me when I posted it on Instagram was how many people my age, I'm 34, were hold up, what? How do I heal my metabolism? And I'm do you think you have a metabolism problem? And at first I kind of was interesting, because I don't think at my age I would ever think I had a baby and I got back to a pretty good size and I'm able to lose and gain and all that stuff pretty easily. I never necessarily thought that I have a metabolism problem. Now I know that I'm fighting my genes, and genes, right? We know metabolism is kind of passed down through that's another story for another time, because we can talk about epigenetics and how you can turn on and off the genes that you are dealt with. But kind of going along with that, reading this book was kind of well, interesting, because maybe I have some metabolism issues. Now, I have to first of all thank my mentor, Kirk, who recommended getting into what Kate Deering has been talking about for a while now. One of the first things, she has a whole checklist of things that you can kind of if you can for you to gauge how your metabolism is doing. Now, one of the things that I read in that little checklist was if you're cold a lot of times. Now, I have always been I run cold. My feet are always cold, and I'm always, Nick's always just get a blanket. And I'm okay. So, or we'll turn the heat on in the house. I don't want you thinking Nick's just get a blanket, deal with being cold, because that's not the case. So one of the things that occurred to me was actually I am cold a lot. And before I got the book in, the coldness has kind of just been ruminating in my brain. Now we have had a cold snap in LA. Sorry for all my people that are I live in colder areas and it's actually cold. Because LA, okay, it's been in the 40s, okay? It's cold. It's super cold. I need to wear my zip up Lululemon at the gym, okay? So it has been cold, but the other night I was cold. When it gets in your bones and your feet are freezing and you're I gotta put on some socks. So that, after reading some of Kate Deering stuff, I was I'm like cold. So I got her book, I started reading a couple more things, and one of the things that she suggests doing is taking your temperature. Now, temperature can be a really good gauge of how your metabolism is functioning, because you think about what metabolism is, right? It's all the processes that happen in your body. So it's all of the energy needed to eat, to burn the food that you eat, to keep your heart pumping, like all of that stuff. And we can talk about like metabolism specifically in another video. I'm actually preparing a presentation for some of my Reboot clients at Function Fitness, which is the gym I work at. And I can actually put that up on here because I think it's helpful for people who don't even necessarily even know what like metabolism is, right? And even I'm a health coach. I've been through all my certifications. We talk about metabolism. Like this book over here is like, oh my goodness, all about that blue one is like all about metabolism and Krebs cycle and like, I don't know. But, well, I do know, but right. Like I have an English degree, like science. I have to work really hard for you guys. So one of the things that Kate Deering says is to take your temperature just with like your little thermometer. Now we have one for Ridley. We won't talk about where that goes, but he's 16 months old, so you guys can guess where that was. So when I was looking for the thermometer, I was like, well, not going to use that one. So just go and get a thermometer. You can either go to like CVS or Walgreens or Amazon or Target, or your grocery store probably has a thermometer for like $5, like maybe. Anyway, get a thermometer. You're going to measure your temperature first thing in the morning. So what I've been doing is literally like, here's my bedside table. I roll over and I take my temperature. Now it's hard to remember, but my mind's already going pretty crazy. So the first thing I'm like, okay, thermometer. Anyway, take your temperature first thing in the morning. Now, when you do that in the morning, it should be between 97.8 and 98.2. Okay. The first time I did this, my temperature was 97.2. So a little bit low because you're supposed to be between 97.8 and 98.2. So I was at 97.2. Now she says to take it after lunch again. So the first time I did it, so after lunch, it should be 98.6. Okay, so after lunch, the first time I did it was 97.9, then 98.1, and then I had another reading that was, that was this morning, my temperature was 96.6. So again, so it's between 97.8 and 98.2 in the morning and 98.6 at lunch. So mine's not drastically low, but it was enough for me to be like, it's low. For someone who thinks that like, oh, I have like a pretty good metabolism. There are other markers too that Kate Deering talks about. I don't want to just like basically go like, we can talk about this more, but I don't want to like rip off Kate Deering. But let me just read a little bit of it because I think it's kind of interesting for you if I can find it. Let's look at Jessica, just like looking for pages. Okay, so signs of a high metabolic rate. So this is if your metabolic rate is like ding, like good stuff. So body temperature with a thermometer, again, 97.8 upon waking, 98.6 midday. Your pulse, this is another one that kind of was like, what? Your pulse. Now we know like athletes, right, have lower pulses. So I think like Lance Armstrong, I think his like pulse, and she brings this up, his pulse was like, I don't know, like 45 or something. But then you guys, he got cancer. So let's stop thinking that athletic, this is one of the big reasons I wanted to do this video, is like, let's stop thinking that athletic looking equals health. Because there are so many stories that I've heard of people who are like super CrossFit athletes, and you look at them and you're like, they look amazing. Like there's like an 8-pack there, like their arms are just like, bruh. Yeah, but then their body's in complete metabolic disarray. They have rhabdo, which is like a terrible, terrible thing that happens to a lot of CrossFitters because their bodies just start breaking down. I'm not saying that CrossFit is a terrible, bad thing. I'm just saying there's a lot of like CrossFit cultural things that just do not equal health. We will get into all of that. But let's go back to the signs of high metabolic rate. So pulse between 75 and 90, okay? So that seemed, to me, I read that and I was like, oh, that's like pretty high, but yes, we'll talk about it. Sorry, I don't want to just like read the book to you. So pulse 75 to 90, warm feet, hands, and nose all day. No, I'm like, I wish my feet were warm. I wish my nose was warm. In fact, this is like, sorry, TMI, but like half the time I'm like using tissues because my nose gets so cold it starts running. Sorry for my coaching clients are like, ew, don't touch me. Sorry. I do, that's why I always keep, and I'm always hand sanitizing. Anyway, 1 to 3 bowel movements per day. Without getting TMI, like 1 to 3? 3? Not happening, okay? Urinating 4 to 5 times a day, not 10 to 12 times per day. So I think I'm pretty good there. I do try to drink water. Water. Ooh. Drink some water. You guys, I really like cold ice water. Also, happy holidays. So urinating 4 to 5 times a day, not 10 to 12. Good hormone function, healthy sex drive, no PMS, fertile. Okay, I'm probably okay there. We are going to start trying for baby number 2 in February, so I'll let you guys know. Shiny hair, smooth and healthy skin, strong nails. Not so healthy. Okay. In the right lighting, it's shiny. 7 to 9 hours of deep, uninterrupted sleep. Now, I do have a 16-month-old, but 7 to 9, I don't know. Feeling happy and content, okay. Have good energy all day. I think that's pretty good. Maintain your weight without dieting and excessive exercise. Now, what I will say to that is I haven't been exercising a ton, and my weight has gotten lower. And we'll talk about that too as we go on. And I think as I continue on this metabolic thing. So what I am trying to encourage you, so as you move into 2019, like weight loss, right? Everyone's got, they're like, you know, like, but this time next year, I want to be 15 pounds lighter and I want to look really good in my jeans and like all that stuff. Like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. I did it. I did that and it was cool and everything. But like, let's start talking about what happens when you're about to hit menopause, like what your metabolism is going to look like. So for some of us, right, that's in 10 years. For some of us, that's in 20 years. You can never predict. You can actually be you can be pre-menopausal like in your 30s. So for most of you that I'm friends with, that I coach, that I hang out with, that's us, guys. Age gracefully, age well. But it's stuff that like I think you should be starting to think about. If you are thinking weight loss, let's think health in there, because going to the gym and working out 5 times a day and cutting calories and all that is just going to mess with your metabolism, right? And that's not healthy for you. And in fact, if you can fix your metabolism, and I will talk to you guys more about it as I get further into the Kate Deering stuff, if you can fix your metabolism, that weight loss will happen naturally. And it doesn't have to be this gung-ho, balls to the wall, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, calorie counting. It doesn't have to be that. Like, it can be something like Whole30 or Bulletproof diet, where you basically are eliminating grains. Anything that is going to move you towards a healthier version of you is going to automatically result in weight loss if your body needs to lose weight. Okay, if your body doesn't need to lose weight, it will it won't. Well, if we're working towards health and these things don't necessarily like equal weight loss, then it won't. If your body, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say like basically like get healthy and don't worry about the number on the scale. Unless that number on the scale, right, is like, well, maybe it's like a lot. Because sometimes it is, and that's fine. And sometimes like you do need to get the fat off, and that's all good. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to stress in a very roundabout way, is fix the things that are going to serve your purpose, and not just serve your purpose in 2020 or in 2019 or in even 2022. Like think about the things that are going to serve your purpose when you're 7 years old and you have your grandson that you want to play with, or your friends want to take you on a cruise and you're like, wait, I can't even walk because I've done so many years of A, B, C, and D, and it's messed me up that I can't even move well, that I can't even function well. Because that's the stuff that like really, really counts. Like, sure, you can look good in your jeans and that's cool and all, but like how well can you support your life? And that's kind of where I want to go with this. There are so many things that can help you feel better every day. So other things too, like obviously, okay, sleeping, just from the list. Sleeping, what your bathroom situation is like, what your mood is like. If you're like, okay, think about this. Oh, I went to the gym and I look really good in my jeans, but like everything else in my life sucks. Like, or I didn't sleep last night. Like, there are things that like, even if you look super hot, dream bod, gorgeous in your skinny jeans, but then you're like, I didn't sleep and I'm angry all the time. Like, what's the point of that, So that is why my suggestion for you is not to lose weight in 2019, but to get healthy. And I am always here to help. Like I said, I am a fitness and nutrition coach. I'm going to be delving more into Kate Deering's stuff because I just feel like everything that I've read so far just like really jives with what people should be doing. And this is after, you guys, lots of years of doing a lot of different things. So on that note, I hope you have a beautiful day. You guys are on my YouTube thing, so you can find me. You can also always check out www.coachjessrose.com. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Jess Rose. And check back more. I'm going to have some more workout videos and stuff. Again, we'll be talking about all these metabolic, wonderful health things. So until then, I will see you later and have a wonderful everything.